Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Brandon here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Rick, and he's selling his Amazon FBA business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Rick, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on. I know it's been a while since the last time we spoke, but before we get into the details and how the business is doing now since the last time we had talked, why don't we give a general overview? So it is an Amazon FBA business in the home niche created in August 2016. The average monthly revenue for the business is $59,390 and makes an average of $13,942 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 51180 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, what's included in the sale is the Amazon Seller Central account with 79 SKUs, 2 domains including all sites, content, and files, trademarks, supplier contracts and relationships, employee contracts, and it is worth noting that inventory is not normally included in the list price, and further details can be provided to active buyers. So, Rick, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Sure. This was actually my first online business. I actually purchased it from Empire, from the previous owner back in July of 2018. I had been operating for 2 years prior to that, and then I've ran it since then. So this was kind of my first, parlay into online businesses. I've done a lot of things in the past with brick and mortar businesses and lots of other fun things. But, I wanted to do something that I could do, remotely wherever I happen to be. And I guess physical products really, play to my strengths, play to what I've had done in the past. So it just really was a good business fit for me. I bought it actually when it had 6 SKUs. We actually discontinued 2 of them in the first month. So we had 4 SKUs and then just grew it from there to the size that now with 79 SKUs. So we really enjoyed it, and it's been a really good business for us.
Yeah, it's amazing that you've been able to scale it to this level just in the short amount of time of owning it. Now, where would you say that the majority of your revenue is coming from across those 79 SKUs? Are there a couple winners in there, or is everything quite evenly spread across the revenue source?
It's like with most things, they are usually pretty top heavy with some of your, we call them home run products. Our top 5 is definitely a big chunk of our income, but really our top 20 I say would be the majority of the income. And we do a lot of launches, honestly. And so we're constantly testing the market, finding what the market wants, and then filling that need. And so we're constantly, bringing SKUs in and out to see, what new trends are out there, what maybe our competitors aren't doing. And so we're constantly in that kind of launching, status. And so, you have your tried and true top 20 kind of products that are always kind of your mainstay. And then you have constantly products coming in and out of production that, might be in style 1 year and then 2 years later aren't as popular. So we're constantly kind of changing things and trying things out, which really makes it fun, but it's helpful to have those kind of, especially those top 5, but really the top 10, top 20 that are kind of the mainstay and, are really the majority of the profits.
Yeah, it's great that you have, you're constantly testing things to try and improve the revenue source as well, too. And that's really great that you found those home run products, I guess you can call them, that you had mentioned. Now, the business is doing so great at this time, Rick. Why have you decided you'd like to sell it?
Well, I kind of spent last year, collecting the windfall of 2020. COVID actually was a great business time for us. We kind of had the mindset of keeping a large inventory in stock, and our competitors really didn't do that. But we kept a good, 3 to 5 month inventory of kind of our top sellers. So when Amazon kind of locked down, didn't allow shipments in, we quickly became the only real choice that the customers had for the types of products that we sell. And so we just really kind of rode that wave for most of 2020. So after that, we kind of looked at, we had 6 different websites that we operated. We had a merch business, and then we had this FBA business. And we kind of looked at, okay, what do we need to focus on? Because we really were kind of spread thin. We're just doing a lot of different things from day to day. And so we started selling off some of our assets. We sold off all our websites that weren't obviously collected to FBA. And then we actually are in the process of selling our merch business. So we've really kind of focused in on FBA. And I actually started back in December another FBA business with my oldest son. And it's still kind of in infancy stages, but it's been doing well. And we also have some other opportunities with other actually investors that are looking to have us kind of do a operator investor kind of setup. And so it's been fun. There's a lot of opportunities out there. And this business has kind of been our bread and butter, our mainstay. And we just kind of came to the point where we're like, well, we're actually turning away and not able to do some of the things that we want to because, a lot of our capital is tied up in this business. And obviously our focus is on this business. So, and now with the other FBA business kind of doing well, I don't want to have to start choosing between businesses of, okay, what are we going to really focus on? So it just made sense timing wise to let someone take over this business and grow it, bigger than it is now.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And awesome. Congratulations on bringing some family into the business model as well, too. It's really awesome to hear stories with family members building up these types of online assets. So it's really awesome to hear that. Now, with this particular business, Rick, was there anything that you tried with it outside of adding or removing SKUs? But was there anything that you tried and it just didn't give you the returns that you were hoping for?
I definitely have a limitation of expertise. And, we kind of found that Amazon FBA marketplace was definitely the niche that we understood the most. And so going off platform into other marketplaces or even getting into product lines that are unrelated to what we currently sell, it didn't make a lot of sense. There was a lot of just gaps of knowledge base that I personally had that just wasn't a road I wanted to go down. And so especially somebody that has those expertise or has a team that they're working with that are comfortable in those areas, there's definitely growth opportunities. It's just something that I just don't have a high level of competence. And so, I just kind of stuck with what I knew I could do well. Those are things that we look very, very heavy into, and we just chose not to pull the trigger on it. So, those things that I wouldn't say we failed at, it's just things that we a higher chance of failure at. So we just decided not go down those roads.
Yeah, that makes total sense as well. So where would you say that a majority of your traffic for this business is coming from? Is most of it coming through Amazon's organic search, or are you also running any type of Amazon PPC ads to get traffic into your listings?
Yeah, we do run PPC, but I can say the majority of our sales and traffic is all organic. More looking at focusing on like the long tail kind of keywords, some of that, the less search types of things that are more specific to the type of products that we sell. The main keywords, the platinum keywords, if you will, we organically do fairly well in already. So we're just kind of, sticking with those and running their course with those. But focusing on our PPC is more of the more specific stuff that we just haven't ranked in. So we're kind of doing both, but I can say the majority is definitely organic.
Okay. I guess you kind of touched base on this slightly, but hypothetically, if you were to keep this business and continue building it, what are some of the ways that you would try and grow it personally?
Couple ways. First and foremost is constantly trying out new products. The cost of the landed product in our niche is anywhere from $1.40 to about $2.25 a piece. And our minimum orders are around 300 units per SKU. So the cost of launch of new products is pretty low, which allows you to kind of test things out. And, basically we let the market decide if it's products that people want. And so that's how we found most of our growth is just through testing series of products out and say, hey, market, is this something you want? So that's first and foremost the easiest way. I don't want to say there's countless other products out there, but pretty close. There is just two major suppliers. There's tons of other suppliers out there that have products that we don't, that we could obviously contact and start supplying and sourcing products through them. So there's lots of ways that you can expand just from offering more SKUs. Beyond that is, like I said, the areas that I'm, lower confidence and lower competence in, other marketplaces, selling in the EU, selling in the UK, so going into other countries and in other marketplaces. That's some of the areas that we just haven't done that I know there's definitely, even with our most successful products, just transferring those over to other Amazon marketplaces in other countries would be definitely an easy win.
Yeah, it's a great mention that you put out there for a potential buyer and some of the potential that, you could definitely see some room for growth in the business, and ultimately they could take the baton and scale the business further, just having this roadmap laid out that you had just mentioned. So that's really great to hear. Can you walk us through maybe some of the weekly tasks or operations that you're performing on the business at this time?
It's not a whole lot. I have a VA. He works between 20, 30 hours roughly a week and does the bulk of the day-to-day daily tasks. So customer responses and inventory, keeping inventory in stock, reorders and such, and then just the general maintenance of the SKUs and whatnot. So he definitely handles the day-to-day stuff. My job majority is looking at new products to source, talking about launching plans, doing kind of the financial side of things, just, planning financially. Okay, let's make sure that we can afford all our reorders and, this new launch or two, just kind of planning that out. So more the big picture stuff, the day-to-day stuff, I just don't have a need to get involved with. So it's pretty low maintenance on my end. It's when you're doing new launches and stuff, that's usually when, it's more time commitment, but the day-to-day stuff is taken care of.
Yeah, it's awesome that you already have that system in place. And, I'm sure our potential buyers can also see the value in that. And is that VA willing to continue on with the new owner, or are they going to be continuing on with you, Rick?
No, they'll be continuing with a new owner.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so that should be quite the easy transition then, already having that VA kind of taking care of some of the daily tasks. On the flip side of that though, Rick, can you walk us through maybe some of the potential risks associated with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Well, if someone's never dealt with Amazon's platform or FBA specifically, you're selling on Amazon's platform. So you're in their ecosystem. So it's very, very important to know, their terms and conditions, their rules that are in place. That's what I've seen a lot of people fall face first into and have issues, sometimes major issues. So, when you're selling someone else's platform, it's definitely important for you to know what you should do, what you can't do, and not try to play in those gray areas. So first major risk is just, you're selling on Amazon's platform. So make sure that you play within their terms. So that would be, I would say, the biggest risk. Beyond that, if this is definitely a business when you're in the home niche, styles and taste change, not rapidly, but do change over time. And so constantly being out there, trying and testing out new products for the new styles and trends that are coming in is important. If you don't do that and you just kind of let this thing run on autopilot, it's still going to do well, but it's not going to do that great over the long haul. You definitely need to continue to put new things out there. So if you're looking for a business that you just kind of set on autopilot and hope it'll make money, it will, but I wouldn't say that would be a smart long-term thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's pretty much across the board when it comes to Amazon being the platform that your business is on, making sure you're playing within their terms and rules and regulations and whatnot is usually, as you had mentioned, one of the biggest risks associated with this business model. Now, Rick, are you willing to commit to a non-compete, meaning once the deal is finished, you'll stay out of this specific niche?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And then how much support are you going to offer potential buyers? Are you going with the typical 30 days of email and call support, or did you have something in addition that you would like to add on to that?
I think the 30-day makes sense. It really just depends on who's buying it and how much, coaching that they're going to need. I'm willing to work with the new owner depending on what, they have a knowledge base in, what they don't. I kind of honestly am a little bit, I guess, have some preference towards the buyer just because when I started, and when I bought this business, the seller really did a lot of handholding for me and really did help me understand Amazon, the ecosystem, and just how these types of businesses operate. And so, he really did give me a leg up and the best opportunity to be successful. So I'm honestly willing to do something like that for the new buyer, if that's something that they want, because it really set me up for success. And, I've owned this business for some time. It's been good for me and my family. And I definitely want to see it continue on and succeed. So whatever that takes is what I guess I'm willing to offer.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear that. And I'm sure our potential buyers that are listening to this call as well can see the value and that added support that you're wanting to see the business continue on and succeed as well with them. So that's really great to hear. Now, are you open to negotiating something like an earnout where you'll receive a large portion of the sales price up front and smaller payments closing out the deal over the course of a few months or a year after that?
Yeah, that's something I'm definitely willing to entertain. Depending obviously how it's set up and whatnot, but yeah, it's something I'm open to.
Okay. Yeah, it can always be discussed during the negotiation period and something that buyers can, at least understand that, this is at least maybe an option if it makes sense for both parties. Now, just a few more sideline questions for you, Rick. So what advice would you give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you first started managing this business?
Capital, because you're dealing in physical products, sometimes the worst financial thing that can happen is you have a product that's too successful. And it sounds funny and even backwards thinking, but when you do a initial launch and you're trying to do it economically and with, as little capital outlay as possible, and then you have a product that just blows up and your initial, launch cost was say, $15,000, you're double or tripling that investment to restock it and to keep it at the levels that it needs to stay at so you don't run out of stock. So that's the kind of things that kind of surprised me, to be honest. And it's something that buyers or just people in this space need to understand is having cash flow, having capital reserves is important because you never know when something is actually going to outperform what you maybe modeled it to be. And you're going to need the cash to keep the thing in stock so you don't lose rank, you don't go out of stock. So that'd be the number one thing I would, you hear about it, you try to anticipate it. But yeah, when you have something that just kind of blows up, you better be prepared to have the capital to make that reinvestment.
Yeah, that's really solid advice. It's one thing that I guess maybe a lot of first-time buyers, fail to plan for is, okay, what happens when you run out of stock or when everything sells out? You got to make sure that you have that additional capital for the reorders and all of those factors that you had mentioned as well, too. So yeah, really good mention. Proper planning, especially on the financial side, is important. Now, final question for you, Rick. So putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think that your business is worth buying?
Well, I would say first off, there's just the systems that we've set up. It really does run automatically with a VA that does most of the daily tasks. And if you're the kind of person that likes to try things out that has generally good taste, I will say I defer to my wife on a lot of decision making on what products we're going to launch because she just has better taste when it comes to these things than I do. So if that sounds fun and interesting and kind of stand on the cusp of the trends and styles, then this could definitely be a fun business to have. And it's pretty automatic in the sense of you're kind of tapping the same type of suppliers. You're not really doing anything that's too risky or too out there. And then just the low cost of doing new product launches and just the inventory not costing as much as a lot of others I've seen really allows you that flexibility to try new things out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really great opportunity and for someone to come in and scale it to its full potential, maybe utilize some of the capital resources that they have to launch new products and scale the business further is a really great opportunity as well, too. So yeah, it's really awesome to see that what you've done with this business and, in the couple of years that you've owned it, Rick. And, I'm sure we'll be seeing this getting sold for you here in the near future.
Yep.
So was there anything else that you'd like to share that I might have missed?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks again for jumping on the call today, Rick. Really excited to talk to you about this business and seeing what you've done with it just, in the last few years. And as I had mentioned, with the foundation you've built here, I'm sure we'll be seeing getting sold here in the near future.
Great. Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Rick, for jumping on the call, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and to see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 51180. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.